more polling shows a virtual tie between voters when asked about a hypothetical rematch between President Biden and the former President Donald Trump. Among registered voters, the current president got 47% support, with the former president, Donald Trump, right behind at 46%. Those numbers are unchanged from August and September polling. And for much more from Quinnipiac University, we now want to bring in Tim Malloy there with Quinnipiac. So Tim, thank you as always for joining us. I think the most noticeable aspect about this latest poll is that we've had a lot going on here nationally, internationally, and it seems when we look at the presidential race for 2024, everything seems unchanged. What are the numbers showing you?
It's as tied can be. I mean, absolutely dead tied. And when you think about, the last couple of months, the former president indicted, 4 court cases, Biden going to Israel, the world on fire, and out of all that, nothing budged.
And so when you look at what's ahead, we have the debate coming up next week, then we start to go into primary season going into the new year. Is this what we're seeing right now in early November, coming out of October? Is this indicative of what we could expect even going into the Iowa caucuses?
The old axiom is that, this is a snapshot in time. A lot can change, a lot of golf can play, and all that stuff that we say about polling. I think you're looking at that the presidential race is not going to move much at all. It's going to be very close right down to the wire. The entrance to Bobby Kennedy Jr. has shaken things up a little bit. As far as the Republican side, I'm sure you'll ask, but Trump running away with it on that side. So I don't have a good answer, but it's a volatile time and a lot can change.
And you mentioned RFK Jr. That was my next question. Seeing him now as an independent, how does that change the numbers?
Changed it a lot. I'm going to read this off because it's easier. Now, we did take a poll with only independents. And among independents, 36% of the people we spoke to support Kennedy, 31% support Trump, 30% support Biden. So with independent voters, he does very well. With younger voters, with minority voters, if you break this down demographically, the same people who were attracted to his father and his 2 very famous uncles. It's sort of a little bit of Kennedy magic going on. Now, he's a very different candidate, but it is interesting that that group of people are intrigued by him.
Who would be most hurt if RFK Jr. remains in the race, he runs as an independent there 1 year from now? Who would be most hurt by his presence, Republicans or Democrats?
Probably Democrats. Probably Democrats. But there's so many people on the fence right now that it'd be hard to say. But he'd be more likely to chip away at Democrats because he's attracted. The Republican Party, Republican voters are pretty attracted to him. A lot of that is the anti-vaxxing, the sort of challenging government and big government. There's a lot of things about him that's not terribly Democrat. And that may be why he'll hurt him.
And so when you look at really second place in the Republican race, we see a lot of infighting between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis now. It seems like they're kind of cranking that up a little bit, going at each other a little bit more. What are you seeing in the race for number 2 on the Republican side?
Well, Haley actually has gone after Trump much more than she had just in the last week. She has. DeSantis still goes in like a lawn dart. He's going down. He's at 15%. She's behind him at about 8%. A lot of the pundits, I'm not one of them, are saying keep your eye on her because the trajectory for DeSantis is down, trajectory for her is up, and she's taken off the gloves with regard to Trump.
And I'm curious, really final question here. When you look at this poll, you've been part of these polls for quite some time now. How does this compare, what you're seeing with these numbers, how does it compare to what you've seen in previous election races and where we stand here in November, especially going into primary season?
I've been doing this for like only 14 years. So that's a couple of presidential cycles. I've never seen anything this close. I've never seen the country this divided. I've never seen this much of a volatile period in history at the time of 1 year before the presidential election. Look what's going on in the world. Russia, Israel, Taiwan, China, North Korea, and domestic division. So, I mean, the answer to my question is I've never seen anything like it, and it's really, really close presidential right now.
Okay, we'll be following it every step of the way. Tim Malloy with Quinnipiac, thank you so much.
All right, good talking to you.